Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So today I want to talk about, I'm going to call it a little bit of a tricky subject. Because I really want to dig down a bit and see what comes up. And it's about this whole thing about when are we too old to do something that maybe has been burning inside of us, a desire we've had for maybe years and years, or maybe it's just something new. But when is the appropriate time to say, nah, I'm too old, maybe in my next lifetime, really? Well, I suppose we could look at different ideas of what those out there might say, whoever those are. We could look inside and see what our guides are telling us about a calling or pulling us toward something, telling us to do something, but we're at this mindset of, oh no, I'm too old for that. Or is it our own fear of looking foolish? Have we lost faith in ourselves, being able to have any impact on others? Like, I'm just an old person who's going to care what I have to say, or who would want to listen to me? In other words, when does that juice, let's call it the juice within, when should it no longer be a creative process? And when is too old too old? I mean, this whole thing of aging is quite a mystery on some level. Not something that our society tends to look at a lot. I mean, we definitely celebrate when somebody makes it to 95 or 100 and they are able to be interviewed and they speak really well and they have the ways that they've managed to hang in there this long and to enjoy their life. And it's a whole, many ways that people find that, that in themselves. But I'm really wanting to talk to those of you and those of us that have something burning, kind of a passion inside of us, but we're keep dampening it down. We're too afraid to allow it, in a way, to let it come forward. And so we just keep like saying no. Maybe this is an example. For some people, I believe, and I know this is true because I know some of these people, they've worked really hard and diligently and for the whole sole purpose of ending up retiring with some money, and that's when they can do the things they're really looking forward to. But during all those years, being in a job that they're really not passionate about, and kind of just going through the motions, so to speak, just to get to that, whatever that magic age is of retirement, whether it's 60, 65, 70, whatever it is, everybody's got a different timeline, so that they can retire and not be tied down to a job and do some of the things that maybe they've not been letting themselves do. But what happens through that process, and most often not even realized, is through those years of discipline and toning down any particular desires to wait until retirement, the fire starts to go out. Rather than getting more fiery, more passionate, it starts to just kind of go out, and without you realizing it. So the day of finally retiring after 30, 40, whatever years of this work that you were doing that really didn't have a whole lot of meaning to you, other than it was a paycheck and it was going to give you your retirement money. when you actually retire, then that excitement in you, or that whatever that desire had been, like I said, it's just kind of, it's no longer there. Through the years, it just kind of got dampened down. So are you at that place where maybe you get little spurts, little insights, or a feeling to go a particular direction, but then at that point the mind comes in and tells you, you're too old now. You're too old to do this. You should have done it before, but now you're really too old. Nobody's going to be listening to you or interested in what you want to do at this point in your life. If this is you, if this has happened to you, or if you even can possibly recognize that it has, is there anything you could do about this to change or reframe your attitude? So let me give you a personal story of myself. So as I've mentioned before, I recently, or no, I haven't yet, but very soon will be turning 80. And I've had a great career life of working. I've really only done things that I am passionate about and love doing. And it's just been, anytime I tried to do anything that I wasn't excited about or didn't have that burning desire, it would just fall apart. It wouldn't work. And so following my heart's desire was something that has always been very natural, exciting. I mean, hard to even turn off. I don't even think I thought of that. Now, I also didn't think about, how am I going to retire if I don't stay with one thing and have the whatever you get today. I don't even think anybody gets pensions, but you get something you put in your 401. But when you're an entrepreneur like I've been, and you kind of go from here to there, whatever you're feeling toward the moment, then I always said, I'm never going to retire. I don't want to. Why would I retire? There's nothing. I'm doing exactly what I love doing right now. But through now the later years, and there's been some shift and changes in my life, where we were living outside of the country up until a few years ago. We came back to the U.S. and I kind of lost track, and I got really deep in the last maybe 8-9 years into my spiritual work, which gives me tremendous pleasure and tremendous insights and so forth, and without though necessarily a plan. In a way, I think kind of thinking, okay, I didn't think I'd ever retire, but it looks like maybe that's what I'm going to have to do, because I can't go back and do the things I did when I was younger. It just wouldn't work. And I don't really have an exact idea of what I could do now. And at this age, hey, it's like everybody around me is retiring, and they're younger than me, some of them. And nobody's looking to start something new. Who's going to start something new at 80 years old? That's kind of crazy. And I could see this conversation was going on in my mind. Yet, as I would sit down to meditate, which I do every day, and start to dig in with my questions about, what is life really about? What did I come here to do? And I feel like I've done a lot of what I did come here to do, which has always been involved with people, and through a point of helping people kind of get in touch with their own inner peace, inner work, inner what they need to be doing. And it would show up though in a business environment. That's how it worked. And one of these days I'll make a video about that, because I think it was interesting how life plays itself out. But that's always been where my passion has been, is working with people to discover their own inner being, their own excitement, their own passion. But it would always, like I said, be in a work environment. So those environments that I worked in were not appropriate for me to spend time in at this point in my life, because they were really out in the world and leading edge in some cases of working with companies to help them find their leadership and So it was like in helping them find the talent that they were looking for, etc. Well, that's not my world today. It's a different world than when I did that. So that wasn't going to be a place I could just go click back into. So I got to a place where I just thought, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, because I don't like, I shouldn't say I don't like, I don't get excited about volunteer work, or I just haven't seen a way to take what I love to do and put it into a volunteer situation. So I've kind of got to a place of, I guess I'm just waiting to get out of here, you know, exit. Now here's the deal. I do believe strongly, from all the spiritual work that I've done, that we do come into this body, into form, even though we're a spirit, a light being, however you call it, but we're coming in from non-form. And we've agreed to come in specifically for some reasons to be here and to complete something. And we also, I believe, from my spiritual work and what I've heard so much from my guides, is I like to call it, we have an expiration date. We just can't find it where it's written in our body. But there is an agreement also when we are going to enter, who our parents are going to be, and the whole story of how we're going to move through our life, and who are the characters that are going to play with us, that have agreed to come and be those people. And we actually have contracts with others that are going to play these particular roles out. And maybe somebody that's agreed to play a role of a father that molested the child, if that was part of what you agreed to do, that's part of the deal. Or maybe it's somebody that's come into, agreed to be a husband, but was going to abuse you, and you're going to experience that as a human. So it's not all good always. It can be, it's whatever it is that's been agreed to in terms of what you as a spirit, a light, wants to come in and experience. Because the only place you can experience this is in the human form. But that's not who you are. You're just a character also. But we come in and we completely forget that, the whole thing. We forget what the storyline is. We forget that we're really a spirit experiencing being a human, but we're a spirit, we're a light being, we're not this character, but we are playing a character. And so we come in with all these agreements, and we come in with this whole agenda of what our life's going to be, and the people that are going to show up in our life, and the trauma and the drama and the fun and the excitement and the whole thing. And then as we kind of get through that into this world where we leave the body at a certain time, and like I said, I believe there's an expiration date for that. It may be negotiable, I don't know, but you're coming in with a certain time frame. So then I look at it as kind of chapters or acts in a play. So now, here I am at my, what I'd like to call the last act, or the last chapters, and sitting with, what do I do at this point? Like, the game's not over. I'm still in the play. There's still a play to go on. There's still the ending of the book to be written. And yet, I'm stuck. Well, I have a very good relationship with my guides, and they've been kind of dropping clues, hints for me to work with on YouTube, and to really get involved with speaking around this time in my life and to others who are in the same arena of aging, 70 years old, 60 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old, and kind of grasping or wondering, what is my purpose now, and how do I want to end this story? Where do I want to be a part of it? How do I, why am I feeling lost? Even though the story's been written, we do have free choice, and if we start feeling like we're done, then we just don't complete the story. So as my guides have been kind of building this fire, I guess I could say, inside of me about get on a YouTube channel, start a YouTube channel and start talking about all the spiritual information that you know very well, that you've taught in the past, etc. And talk about starting something new, and talk about what do you have to offer in this last act, or the end of the book. How do you want to experience this part of you? And definitely my mind was going, no way, Jose, no way. I just can't do this. I mean, I'm just too old. Nobody starts this kind of thing at 80 years old. Nobody's even going to be interested in listening. And our guides, as you know, they never push or they don't argue with us, but they just keep dropping little droplets of kind of getting your attention, helping you get a little more in touch with that inner part of you, that part of you that is excited. And they are very patient, and they just kind of wait. Our guides are very patient, and they just kind of wait for us to show up or not. It's our choice. So as you can see, my guides have been rather successful, if this is what they wanted, and I think it is, because I am doing this. I'm doing it, though, not with effort, not trying to see that something results from this. I'm just kind of going with the flow in a way and saying, well, I don't know, is there something I have to share at this point that others could relate to? Is there a way I can be of service to others? All of us that are in this age range, let's say, we're all have the same thing that we're looking forward to, at least at this point in a lifetime. Most people now are living into their 90s, and certainly some into their hundreds. But, you know, that's what we're looking at. So whether we're 70, 80, 90, the end of the story is getting closer and closer to exactly that, the ending. What are we doing during this time? And what are we feeling? You know, this is the other thing that and I don't know quite how to get this across, so we can have conversations about what are we feeling? What are you feeling about death? I mean, in my world, there's no dying, but there's a process of leaving this body and moving into what moving out of form, and possibly deciding to come back in. Also, there's many days I say, note to self, do not volunteer again to come back in, hang out with the angels. But we're here right now, and I think I just don't see much conversation other than people that are saying they're cool with it, they're good, I'm not afraid of dying, or, you know, we don't die, we just leave the body and all those things. But then we have the emotions, and we have whatever energy is still possibly stuck in us from what we've believed, and it's still kind of there, hidden. Or can we be motivate others to really, how do I want to say this, really give it our last shot of life and really get into it and inspired, and maybe doing things that I've never done before, just for the excitement of it, without any having to have pressure that this better be a good thing that you're doing. I think one of the challenges is if you hang out with the retirement community, what they're talking about is kind of travel to certain places. I'm not saying any of this is bad, by the way, but is that their passion? For some it might be. They're traveling and they hadn't traveled before. But then after you travel so much what's next? What's next? And I think that is, by the way, a very good question to ask within when you're meditating. What is next? And allow it to come up and show you what is being suggested for next. But this is where I believe that there's something deep down that most of us are not willing to accept or to reveal even. Or there's some kind of conversation going on that we can't really talk to anybody else about, that's kind of saying, this, just kind of do what everybody else is doing, go to a book club, learn a new art technique, watch TV that you like, sleep later than you maybe had before, go to bed earlier. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, are you lost out there? Because here's what I think happens, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think for people particularly that have thought about, well, when I retire, I'm going to do this, or when I retire, I'm going to do that. I think what happens is, like I said, they retire, and that fire of whatever it was that was wanting to do something when you retire kind of died out. So then there's that lost feeling of, maybe for the first year, it's like the honeymoon, and you go and do some things you had been wanting to do, you travel, you just have that sense of Monday morning, and it feels great because I don't have to go to work. You have more leisure time to hang out with friends, or take your walks, and that's all superb. That's great. That's really exciting, and that's really fun. But after a little bit, it kind of loses that excitement. So at that point, what is going on within? What is that part of you that's just not really showing up, or it's showing up and you're not paying attention to it? And then once you do pay attention to it, maybe that's why we don't pay attention to it, because once you do pay attention to it, your mind is going into, no, not too old. So what I hope to do is start to get conversations going on about this whole thing. I'd like to hear from a bunch of different people. I'm going to try to get some people to interview them, and see how they're dealing with some of these issues. Maybe you have health issues and that's bogging you down, but it doesn't have to. And maybe, but maybe there's also this rigid mind that's saying, you know, you don't seem to fit in with the retired that are doing volunteer work. There just seems to be no place for you. It's over. So that's my goal at 80 years old, to see if we can't start these conversations, get it out there, and kind of be a place where others can learn from, or others can see what is this feeling like as you get to this point, and maybe somebody could change the direction they're taking. Could we be a beacon of light? Because that could be something that could be of service and helpful. And more importantly, can that allow us to dig within, to really go within and touch areas of ourselves and our inner part that we've never allowed or touched before, and have that experience in the human body before we take off, before we drop the body and move on. I feel sometimes like I'm rambling, and I don't mean to do that, but this is a subject that just doesn't seem to be talked about a lot. And so it's, I'm kind of working my way through it. So if this has any meaning or impact on you, please leave a comment below, or send me an email and let me know what you're thinking. My email is below also. And let's see where we could go with this. Let's see if we could maybe even put a panel together. I think it could be so rewarding for not just us, but again, those that are coming behind us, to kind of see that it's not over till it's over, right? It's not over till the fat lady sings, I think is what they say. Hopefully today's world, that's okay to say. So give me some thoughts on this. Give me some ideas. Tell me if I'm totally off in the woods here. I'm open. I'm really, really open to hear and listen how to address this, or what do we want to hear as we get to this point in our life. And what do others that aren't here yet want to hear? What do they want to know about this time frame? Are they ignoring it? Are they waiting for it so they can do all the things they thought they were going to do, and then end up being kind of disappointed and maybe lost, feeling lost? Help me out. Help me out in putting this forward. And I've been asking my guides to also kind of point me in a direction where I can get a better handle on what exactly is it that I'm trying to express, and what would be most helpful in terms of really getting this out there, finding the ways to do that. Yeah. Obviously, it's always the inner work, right? So that part I want to keep in the forefront. The older we get, in a way, the more juice we can get by going within. The more we can be available to really hear our guides. And you know, I've talked before how I kind of use that metaphor that our guides are like the crew is for a race car driver, where he has his crew that help him prepare before the race. They're with him 100% all the time, cheering him on, pointing him in the right directions. And then during the race, they're at the pit stop, helping with the car, giving him water, whatever it is. They're just there. This is a crew that is 100% committed and never lets that race car driver down. So this is how I look at our guides. Like, they're our crew. They're absolutely voting for us, if you want to say it that way. They're here for us 100%. That's what their whole job is. That's what their whole reason for being where they are is. We have certain, let's say, angels or guides that are positioned in certain positions to help us through different parts of our lives. And I just feel that during this last act, that our crew, our guides, our angels are really pumped up to help us leave this body in such a way that we feel complete, really complete with what we've done, what we've been able to experience. And you know how they say, leave them wanting more, whatever that means. I don't know. Leave with grace. I think it's more leave with satisfaction. Leave with a complete sense of done, completed. But till the very last moment, continue to feel this inner excitement that we need. So, I don't even know if any of this made sense. Hopefully it does to someone or somebody's. Anyway, hopefully I'll see some comments below. And if you like this video, please click like. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell next to the subscribe button and you'll be notified when new videos come up. Thanks, you guys, for being here. I hope this has helped somebody and made sense. Talk to you next time. Take care.